It all began with a desperate phone call from an aging caretaker named Mrs. Hargrove. Her voice trembled as she described the eerie occurrences plaguing the Black Mirror mansion. "It's the reflections," she whispered. "They're alive. They mimic our every move, then step out of the mirrors to haunt us." Intrigued yet cautious, the gang drove their van through winding roads surrounded by thick woods, the mansion's gothic silhouette looming against a moonlit sky. As they approached, a chilling wind swept through, carrying the faint sound of whispers. The scene was set for a mystery, unlike any other. Inside the mansion, Mrs. Hargrove, a petite woman with sharp eyes, greeted them with urgency. The gang gathered in the grand hall, where gilded mirrors adorned every wall. "The trouble started a month ago," Mrs. Hargrove explained, her gaze darting to a massive mirror at the room's center. "At first it was subtle flicker, a shadow. But then," her voice broke as she recounted the disappearance of her assistant Lydia. Velma, adjusting her glasses, inspected the mirrors while Fred examined the locks on the mansion's doors and windows. "No forced entry," he noted. Daphne, her curiosity piqued, studied a nearby mirror, her reflection appearing slightly off. As they split up to investigate, Velma's scientific curiosity led her to the mansion's library, where she uncovered old blueprints and records. These mirrors were imported from a reclusive artisan who claimed they could capture souls, she read aloud, her brow furrowing. Meanwhile, Fred and Daphne explored the dining room, finding broken shards of glass that seemed to shimmer unnaturally. Scooby and Shaggy, predictably, found themselves in the kitchen, lured by the promise of leftover snacks. However, their light-hearted snack hunt turned eerie when a reflection in the window moved out of sync, waving mockingly before vanishing into the darkness. The tension escalated when Daphne let out a startled scream. The gang rushed to find her standing before the central mirror, her reflection, or what should have been her reflection, gone. It's empty," she stammered, her voice trembling. Suddenly, the mirror's surface rippled like water, and a shadowy figure emerged. Its form was humanoid but distorted, its features warped, and its movements unnatural. The gang froze as it stepped toward Daphne, reaching out a hand that mirrored her every movement. Fred acted swiftly, pulling Daphne away while Velma shouted, "It's an illusion. There must be a projector hidden somewhere." Determined to uncover the truth, the gang regrouped in the study to form a plan. Velma shared her findings about the artisan and suggested the mirrors were part of an elaborate hoax. "If we find the source of the projections, we can stop this," she concluded. Fred proposed setting traps to corner whoever was behind the illusion. While Daphne's unease deepened, Scooby and Shaggy reluctantly agreed to help, though their nerves were frayed. As the clock struck midnight, the gang prepared to face the unknown, the mansion's dark corridors echoing with the sound of their resolve and the faint, mocking laughter of reflections. Midnight's toll echoed through the Black Mirror mansion as the gang split up to execute their plan. Velma took charge of locating the projector's source, armed with blueprints and a flashlight. Fred and Daphne began setting traps in key areas, focusing on rooms with the most reflective surfaces. Meanwhile, Scooby and Shaggy, armed with a reluctant sense of duty, carried mirrors from the smaller rooms into the central hall to minimize potential threats. The mansion's eerie silence was broken only by the occasional creak of floorboards or the distant, unsettling laughter of reflections. Velma's investigation led her to the basement, a dusty, labyrinthine space filled with old trunks and forgotten furniture. As she followed the blueprints, she discovered a hidden compartment in the wall, containing a sophisticated array of projection equipment. "This must be it," she murmured, examining the intricate setup. The machinery projected eerie, distorted images onto reflective surfaces, explaining the strange movements in the mirrors. But Velma's satisfaction was short-lived when she heard footsteps behind her. Whirling around, she saw a figure, her own reflection, stepping out of a nearby mirror, its eyes glowing ominously. Upstairs, Fred and Daphne worked tirelessly to set their traps. Fred placed pressure-activated snares near the central mirror, while Daphne arranged tripwires across the hallways. "Whoever is behind this won't get far once we catch them," Fred said confidently. Daphne, however, remained uneasy. "Fred, what if this isn't just a hoax? There's something about these mirrors, something wrong," she whispered. Before Fred could respond, a chilling scream echoed through the mansion. Recognizing Velma's voice, They abandoned their work and sprinted toward the basement. Scooby and Shaggy, meanwhile, had taken refuge in the library. After moving several mirrors, they huddled together, trying to ignore the unsettling sounds around them. "Raggy, I don't like this place," Scooby whimpered. Shaggy nodded fervently. "Me neither, pal. Let's just stay here and—" His sentence was cut off as a mirror across the room began to ripple. The duo watched in terror as their reflections emerged, distorted and malicious. "Let's get out of here," Shaggy screamed, dragging Scooby toward the door. As they fled, the reflections gave chase, their mocking laughter growing louder. In the basement, Fred and Daphne found Velma cornered by her mirror doppelganger. Acting quickly, Fred used a flashlight to disrupt the reflection, causing it to waver and retreat. "It's the light," Velma exclaimed. "Direct light weakens the projections." Armed with this new knowledge, the trio regrouped and headed upstairs to find Scooby and Shaggy. They encountered the frightened duo in the central hall, where the reflections had cornered them. Using their flashlights, the gang drove the illusions back into the mirrors. "We need to shut down the projector for good," Fred said. Velma nodded, determination lighting her face. "Let's end this." The gang regrouped in the central hall, their flashlights now indispensable tools against the malevolent reflections. Velma clutched a map of the mansion, her finger tracing the path to the basement where the projection equipment awaited. "The source of all this chaos is down there," she declared. "If we destroy the projector, we'll stop these illusions." Fred nodded, formulating a plan to protect the group as they moved. "Daphne, you and I will take the lead. Velma, you stay in the middle with Scooby and Shaggy. Keep your flashlights ready." As they descended the grand staircase, the air grew colder, and the mansion seemed to close in around them. The reflective surfaces along the walls began to ripple, and faint whispers echoed through the corridors. Shaggy, his voice trembling, muttered, "Why do we always end up in creepy basements?" Scooby nodded, his tail tucked between his legs. Suddenly, a mirror near the landing shattered, sending shards flying. From the broken glass emerged a twisted figure, its reflection-like body writhing unnaturally. Fred shouted, "Lights, now!" The gang quickly aimed their beams, forcing the figure to retreat into the shadows. Reaching the basement, they found the projector room in disarray. The equipment hummed ominously, casting distorted images onto the walls and ceiling. Velma approached the main console, carefully examining its controls. "This isn't just a standard projector," she said, her voice tinged with awe. "It's been modified with advanced optics and something ancient." Daphne, her flashlight sweeping the room, spotted a symbol etched into the floor beneath the projector. "It matches the design on the mansion's mirrors," she pointed out. Velma's brow furrowed. Whoever set this up knew exactly what they were doing. As Velma worked to disable the machine,